From a very extreme, I have an author, public affairs analyst, Frank Eyelson. Thanks for coming, Frank.
Oh, very pleasure.
And next to Frank, I have a legal practitioner and, of course, a policy analyst. Thanks for coming, Sonny Daudo.
Thank you very much.
And next to Sonny Daudo is the media and ICT coordinator of the Christian Association of Nigerian Feeding Program, Oladele Ogundele.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right, so we're going to be also having a barrister from Abuja. He is a policy analyst also, Damisa Itote. Good morning. Okay, we're going to be having that connectivity as soon as we can. We'll bring that to you. Okay, good morning, Damisa Itote. How are you doing today?
Okay, good to be back here. Good morning.
Okay, well, let's quickly hit the ground running on this. I think I choose to start with you, Oladele. We've been having all of these differences coming, and we have the aspect of the looting as alleged, some warehouse that they said, it belongs or is being owned by the state government. And we've seen this trade crossing between the APC and the Edo State government over the looting of the warehouses where bags of rice were really, carted away. Some have said that this actually were the bags of rice that were given by the federal government that the state government failed to distribute. And we also heard before then where the state government also said that piloting a sector using CAN, to expand the livelihood of the vulnerable in the state. And we've been testing that, but we don't know. Being that you are the media, and the coordinator of the feeding program of CAN, did those bags get to you?
First, thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. You see, yes, there is nothing like federal government rice being rebagged to Edo State government bags. What happened was that the state government provided fund, called the CAN leaders, the leaders in Edo State, and led by the Apostle General Dr. Orekmonoye Omaeke, and actually asked them to organize themselves that he wants to reach out to the vulnerables. And these vulnerables they are in communities, knowing the fact that these are Christian leaders. They involved in charity. They give to the poor. The poor reside in the church. In his word that day, that's March 8th, I think Governor said that, I know that these poor people cannot reach me. And I know if I give the food to you, the Christian leader, you can pass it to them. And what really happened was that he did that, and this procurement were made. The fund was set aside. The fund was not paid to CAN account. The fund was paid to an account set aside. Why just Christian body in those states?
The funds were paid to an account.
An account, not CAN account.
Can you clarify what account?
Set up by the state government. Okay. An account set up by the state government. Then the Christian body, the leaders of CAN in those states, are to make procurements, interview vendors, the suppliers, engage and distribute.
When you say procurement, that involves purchases.
Yes, using the vendors.
So which means monies were disbursed to
vendors.
CAN. Directly to vendors or first to CAN?
No,
before
CAN is to manage the money in a particular account.
Okay.
And these vendors are mobilized to have this food supplied to the warehouses. So coming to the looting that you mentioned, you see, that looting was just an unfortunate incident. We had first phase of the project, where we have about 60,000 10 kg bags of rice, successful, distributed to the vulnerables. There is a poverty map data analysis from Government House, which serves as a guide, which we can use to distribute these to 15 communities from each of the local government in Edo State, making it 270 communities. And this is what happened. So the issue of this second phase procurement was made for about 56,250 50 bags of 10 kg. And this distribution was on that particular, there were even 3 trucks. 2 successfully. That particular truck had issue, had vehicular breakdown on the way. Just delivered at the Geduma there. and was coming. And unfortunately, because the flag was done on Tuesday, and on Wednesday was when distribution hit the local government areas. As it was coming, that's a fault. Trying to salvage the situation, to keep the rice, that is not government warehouse. That's not even can warehouse.
Okay, are you talking about the truck that was situated
Yes.
at Aurora,
Yes.
around the local government area?
Yes, that
are you
particular
saying that
truck.
it was as a result of a fault that
Yes, it
had
was
to stay at that
fault.
location?
It was faulty,
Okay.
and trying to save the goods. One of the vendors was contacted that, okay, please, is there any way you can help us save these goods? Because the warehouse we normally use supposed to be Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint at Urade. But 3 days before then, the hoodlums broke into that, thinking that rice was to be there. We have some of this security information before then. That was even why we were able to salvage it. If not, it would have been worse than this.
Okay, but the state government, through the Commissioner for Communications and Orientation, did say that they don't have a warehouse in that location.
That's what I'm saying. It's not warehouse.
So,
like I said, that truck was on distribution train.
but you spoke about a warehouse that we're supposed to use in that area. Is that warehouse belonging to the state government or the CAN?
CAN has warehouses, 4 warehouses in Edo State. We have 2 in Edo South, 1 in Edo Central, provided by churches, by these churches.
All right. Let's get your attention, Sonny Daudo, because all of this seems to be a propaganda. I don't know if it's because of the election coming forth shortly, because I think the people, the viewing audience, needs to get it rightly. A situation where some are tying and others are losing, or you bring a mischief, or seemingly as it looks. What do you make of this? Do you see this as a fair thing to do for a government that wants to make a progress?
Well, thank you very much. The first joy I have is his confirmation that those things were rice. But the PDP said they were not rice, they were corn. I'm happy he said they were rice. Whether or not provided by federal government or state government, he has confirmed to us now and the viewing public, Edo, that those things were not propaganda, that it was rice. As against their earlier story, that it was not rice, it was corn, that an APC member brought there. This confirmation is soothing, and I'm happy about that. He has clarified that it was rice. Now I want to address the issue. The issue I'm going to ask will be rhetorical. First, how much was budgeted by the state government given to the coffers of CAN? That is 1. 2, how many churches are members of CAN to which these rice were distributed? That's 2. 3, what is the methodology of distribution?
Okay,
what are the
that methodology? Let me quickly cut in. But do you agree now? Have you come to the conclusion that this is not the truck, loaded with bags of rice coming from the federal government? Because that was what the impression gave.
No, what I'm saying in essence is that there was a story by the PDP that they were not rice, even the first instance, that they were corn.
Okay, but the APC also said.
Now let's agree.
The APC also said that that's part of the trucks from the federal government.
Let's agree, sir.
I'm saying, do you now agree that that isn't?
Let's agree. Let me tell you, sir.
The APC.
Let me tell you, sir. The fact remains that the PDP-led government in Edo have not controverted that they didn't receive 20 trucks. They have not controverted it. No member, not even the Commissioner of Information, has said that federal government did not give Edo State 20 trucks of rice. They have not debated that. So it means enough that that is acceptable, that they have received it. Now the question has been that Edo PDP, led by the governor, is known for hiding of palliatives for federal government. During the COVID-19, Edo meal were hidden by the state government. So if we say now today that the rice, the truck were hidden by state government, you can't dispute that. It's correct. Now let me look at the issue addressed by CAN, which is pathetic that the state government rights to subsidize, which is also flowing from the 570 billion of the federal government. It's not actually a state government money. The money is not state government money. Whether these trucks were sent directly or were purchased or were budgeted for, is flowing from the federal government 570 billion now distributed to state. It's not state government money. It's from the Fed 570 billion. Okay, now, excuse me, sir. That money with which the CAN got that budget is from the federal allocation out of the 570 billion.
Okay, you've articulated the point.
No, I want to finish the point.
I'll come back to you. Okay. We'll finish on that. But let's get the visuals. Okay, we have the visuals there on the distribution. Of course, looking at the bags of rice that we have here, we have reports that they were rebagged, you know, and but we can see this. It doesn't seem like they were rebagged. So let's get your view on this, Frank Ayoso.
Well, I think there's quite a mix-up. The CAN ICT rep gave his narrative, and my co-discussant amplified some of the points highlighted, and that resulted in quite a mix-up. In saying that they agree that it was maize, there are like 3 different issues in circulation in the public domain. The issue that he addressed pertained to the truck that was attacked, so-called, or that people assessed the rights that it had at Urora. What had to do with maize? There was no truck there. It was a small minibus. That one was in a hall. Though in the same local government, the same hall there, it's far off. That one was even like a day after the issue of the Urora episode.
Exactly.
Now, in that case, the day the video of the small bus came forth that he was referencing, where they said they were packing bags of rice, it went viral. The DDG media of the PDP campaign council, also Igodalo campaign council, I'm sure he got wind, or had people who were there, members of his own team, possibly. Now who told him that, no, this stuff, there was nothing like that, you come and confirm. So the guy now went there the next day, and he did a video record.
Exactly.
The building was there, right beside the market. He confirmed the fact that it was a school for the Almajiris. I can't know the exact term to use to identify it. And the cops were on the ground that he packed it. So there are different issues. Coming to my viewpoint on it in totality, there's even another mix-up. In talking about the 570 billion in government funds, if I have my facts right, the issue of the money being allotted for the purpose of buying rice distributed via the church and the Islamic community, basically, is traceable. So it wasn't even government giving, federal government giving state money. It was more like a loan. If you recall earlier in the year, as at the time the heat of the impact of the, I don't want to say draconian, but terribly scorching policies of this administration, that was when they did it. So the portion of the money, I'm sure the state will still pay back. I don't know if they commenced the payment schedule that came to the state, just like some states. It's not a state that resorted to buying rice like Edo State. Other states did what they could do that they felt was appropriate in addressing or reaching those who were underprivileged. So it is from that money that the so-called 2 billion, I think it's about 2 billion or so that is the amount of the money used for that purpose. I can't recall the, or it was the total amount released. So there are different issues. Okay. I don't want them to be mixed up.
All right.
The third point I want to highlight, which for me is personal, but it points to the unfortunate evolution of Nigeria as a nation state. I'm a Christian by religion. It's a matter of choice. Religion is personal. It's a constitutional provision that we operate a secular state. Why would a state, and it's a culture across Nigeria, prioritize 2 religions because they have so many people that practice religion? Nigeria is a secular state, but government by conscious activity and a sense of culture has turned Nigeria to a 2-religion state. In almost all government houses, especially in the south, it's more prominent in the north. They use taxpayer money to build mosques. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. Go to a government house. There's a mosque, there's a church. It's just if I were a lawyer, I will take the state to court.
Okay.
Then my tax should be remitted back to me.
Okay,
I'll come back to you. Use of foreign religion.
I'll come back to you. Let's quickly get
So
your
that's the
opinion.
color.
Oh, yes, I'll come back to you. Let's get your opinion, Damisa. And let's look at it here from the perspective of getting it right. As politicians, some have said that rather than, you know, go about misguiding the public or raising a propaganda, there should be a sense of the programs, manifestos of a party. Now, what do you make of this issues surrounding looting of warehouses, and the trade blame between the APC and the PDP, Damisa?
Okay, the truth is that, once again, thanks for having me, is that we have even lost, our sense of humanity, quote and unquote. Because Aristotle once said that hunger is a parent of revolution and crime. And that when a man is hungry, he becomes angry. Look, happiness rarely comes to the man whose stomach is empty. When a man is hungry, he cannot think well, he cannot love well, and he cannot act well. Oh, I'm saying this to lay a foundation for the next point I want to make. We have reduced ourselves in this country to an hungry and angry nation. Nigeria used to be rated as one of the happiest countries in the world. Today, it is no longer so. Why? Because of policies of government, policies of a successive government, as it were. So we shouldn't. It's even a shame, in my view, that we are talking about sharing palliatives in a country that, quote unquote, we are not at war. We're not at war. When you share relief material, it's usually to people devastated by natural tragedies, maybe flood, fire outbreak, so many other things. But we are not even in that era in Nigeria, and we are talking about sharing palliatives to over 229 million Nigerians. So the problem we are having is that we must situate that. Having established that, I must now say,
Mr. Itote, I'm particularly concerned about the allegations of the APC against the PDP.
Yeah.
And I want to comment on that.
And that's what I'm going to. Having been faced with this reality, we must now begin to ask, the palliatives that were provided, were they transparently shared? And the looting and the alleged rebagging and everything, and all the allegations from the political parties, opposition parties, APC and all of that, the counter blame, are they tenable? So where rights shared, you are just showing.
But you can see visuals. There are visuals, and I would like those visuals to be rolled on the screen.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
All right.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Look at visuals. So the answer is that, right? The question is that, were they transparently shared? And we answer also in the affirmative, because churches have been shown to have collected, these bags of rice. So for me, I do not think we should even politicize some of these things and drag innocent, people serving in the committee into unnecessary disrepute. Because I'm aware that the committee that was set up, the members of that committee are largely, predominantly, especially for the Christian Faith program, and of course even the Muslims, they are predominantly imam and clergy. Are you saying that this man of God should not be trusted to have distributed this rice? You are seeing visuals, you are seeing images. So rice were, of course, bags of rice were distributed. I can confirm that in my village in Ososo, some churches got bags of rice. As far as in Edo North in my village, they got bags of rice. I can confirm that personally. I can't confirm that. So for me, we should not even politicize it. It's even a shame that we are politicizing hunger. For me, it's a big shame. Those are not the issues we should be talking about in an electionary period.
Okay, thank you, Damisa. But before we round off on this segment, in order to also extend the frontiers of it later on, but let's get to your reactions on this briefly. Sonny Daudu.
You see, the issues here be canvassed. Issue for palliatives, whether or not they are being given by federal government or state government. The question I was trying to ask, why was this delay? Why do you keep it? All these videos that have been shown, where was the point of distribution? You have snapped people to say they were sharing, and where were they shared? These are issues. Why did you keep them till now? Why were you sharing it where you know there was a protest? You said they were air route. These are questions. So what I'm saying in essence is that it is failure of the government to now distribute rice when they know there will be a protest, for instance. The same government did not make this. I was trying to ask rhetorical questions. My church didn't get. How did they share it? I called my brother in the village. They didn't get. Who get the rice? These are questions. How do you determine the vulnerable from the churches? If the churches say they don't have a data, they say it's government data. Are government churches? Are they the churches? Unfortunately, they can't say they don't have the data, or those who share, they get it from government. Who says that this data got it from government are not political patronage? The churches say they don't have data. How did you share it? My village didn't get. We have several churches in my village. They did no church got. I made a call there.
I believe even
in my church in Benin City, they didn't get.
I believe
how do you share it?
I believe Olane will have to answer that.
How do you share it?
Can't have the data, because I was really coming to that. Because how do you get the poorest of the poor?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I saw your news crew this morning that PDP said they never received 20 trucks from federal government, because he said perhaps they've never debunked that they actually received. But I'm not speaking for PDP, I'm not speaking for government, I'm speaking for these projects. Now, like I said, we have a data map analysis of where we have most vulnerable poor people in those states across the 18 local government, given to us from the state government to serve as a guide.
Okay,
now,
it's not as if for the church members.
I'm coming, sir. Okay. That data is not named. It's just like, we have most vulnerable this side, this. So now pick this local government and concentrate this food item. That's one. Two, come as an organized body, religious body, as five blocks. We have the CSN, the Catholic Society of Nigeria. We have CCN, the Christian Conference of Nigeria. We have OIC, the Organized African Student Churches, the one normally called White Garment Church. We have the Tekan Ekwa. Okay. We have the CPN, PFN. Okay, now these blocks, 5 blocks, are part of the committee. Now, what they do is that, okay, now this local government submit churches from this local government. Each local government is to be captured 15 communities. Okay. Across the 18 local government. Now submit these churches. Now the intention of this project is actually, look at what Governor said. Governor said on March 8th, he said he doesn't want politics to be in this project. In fact, when he was coming to that meeting, I'm not talking of what I was part of the whole thing from March 8th. And from when he launched it. He said that I don't want politics here. When he was coming, he will not come with any of his aides, because he said he doesn't want politics. The only thing I will do for you is that this phone we provided here, because I don't want politics. And sharing of food, we don't look at whether you are PDP, you are APC, you are whatever. Okay. What it is given to the church,
I'll come back to you.
Church also
I'll come back to you. Sonny Daudu made a very, very salient point, because we've been following this over the distribution of these food items for the poorest of the poor, as the government will always say. And there's this challenge where even if the government has the data in all of this. Now, I think what Sonny Daudu asked was, why this time? We expected that this sharing or the distribution would have been long done, because I engaged the SSA to the governor on religious matters some months back, and he gave us the impression that, well, this is they are about to hit the ground running on that. So why wait for this political period? I get your views on that.
Give me my view on this. I want to throw light on a fundamental, which is the fact that this palliative, so-called, appears more impactful from the standpoint of optics. That the government made that choice is possibly the best that it could reach within the purview of available resources. In talking about why, he addressed it earlier. They did the first phase some months back, 60,000 bags of 10 kg rice. Okay. And the second phase was done. Even the one, that Aurora case, it happened before the protest started. The protest commenced on the 1st of August. If you follow up the Aurora issue, it wasn't on, I'm not sure it wasn't on the Friday, it was over the weekend. So it's not about the protest or when it's carried out. That's why I said it's more about the optics. Now, look at it. 60,000 10 kg bag of rice. Edo State has a population of over 5.2 million. I can tell you free of charge that the first phase and the second phase, when summed up, still results in less than 120,000 bags of 10 kg rice. On the average, that can take a family of 5, say about 7 days. So what it means is that about 205 times 60 is 300. Okay, say about 300,000 citizens may be able to eat rice for 2 weeks.
All right.
That's why I said it's about the optics. It doesn't address hunger or the core issues in the long run.
Thank you. I just got what I needed because we need to get to know
I truly like on it for the sake of
came in phases.
So it seems as if the challenge of hunger is being addressed.
Yes, that it came in phases, and Sonny Daudu may want to react to that.
You know,
because there was a phase. There was a phase.
No,
even before now.
Yes.
Successful.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt you. Some of those questions cannot be answered in totality here because there has to be some bit of auditing.
Okay, but let's hear.
I'm
giving you this, and after we.
Yes. Now, why I said it, the notice of protest was given for over 10 days. That there will be a protest. If you think that the first phase was in March, why did you wait till now? Is it that people who you gave to since March, the others were not hungry? I have asked question. How much was budgeted?
When you say why do you wait till now, when should it have been done?
Now, what I'm saying,
it's in phases, and I think
let's agree.
It's better. Okay,
a proactive government. If the state is a proactive government, people were protesting issue of hunger. Why don't you deploy the money quickly? At least if it was shared before the end of July, before August 1st, you would have something is sharing it.
Thank you, Frank Eyoso. Big thanks, Sonny Daudu. Big thanks, Oladele Ogundele. Let's.